G'day, my name's David Troy, and this is the David Troy Salon. So I've been wanting to make this video for a little while now. This is for Jake back in Australia that is just starting out in the industry. I'm very excited. It's my sister's boy. It's family. It's important. But he's just getting into it. He's young. He's 15. So I wanted to show you basically some little tips on how to blow dry hair. So if you're just starting out in the industry, this video is for you. If you've been in the industry for a long time, you know, come back and check us out next week. But Jake, this one's for you, mate. So before we even start, I want to explain a little bit to you about the brush I use. This is a ball bristle round brush. I love these. It's got a wooden base in the middle. The ball bristle doesn't damage the hair. It slides through the hair really well. You can get these, you could probably find it online back in Australia. It's Aquage. They're great brushes and they flow through the hair really, really well. So I'd advise go out and get yourself one of these. If you can't find it, let me know and I will send it to you, Jake. But on a mannequin head, we don't get, you know, the hairs, even though a percentage of it's real hair, there's still some synthetic hair in it, so it's hard to blow dry, which you'll see in this video. But once you get used to using the round brush, you'll find that you won't need to use a flat iron, you know, and curling iron and things like that. So it's very important that you learn your basics early on. So check it out, mate. Let me know what you think, and I hope this helps a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to section it off into 3 sections. So I divide it down the middle and just separate the front. The back, you can see, is just, I'm going to take the section all the way across. Now a little trick of the trade here, you take your index finger and you put it at one end, and the end of the sectioning clip will just automatically go to where your finger is. So you get a nice clean section. It's very important, mate, that you keep those sections really clean. It'll make your work just so much easier. So here's that Aquage brush that I was talking about earlier on, which I'm going to use. Now before I start, always put product in the hair. It will just protect it. I love Paul Mitchell. I use a super skinny. I just saturate the hair with that, and it just makes the brush flow so much easier through the hair. Now as I'm taking my section, you can see the hair dryers, it's not resting on the hair, it's a couple of inches above. You don't want to rest the hairdryer completely on the hair because it will just burn the hair. So you can see as I'm sliding it down, the hairdryer is actually just, the purpose is running the hair over the top. It's not directed straight down, it's sort of on an angle. So that's very important to look at. So as I'm taking my sections, I'm not putting the hairdryer down, I'm not turning the hairdryer off. You can see I'm just keeping it in my hands the whole time. It'll just speed up the process. A lot of hairdressers will sit the hairdryer down as they take the next section. I don't advise it. Get used to hanging onto it. Don't sit it down. Use it. Just get used to basically having it in your hand. Now as you can see, I'm sort of flipping the hair up at the end just to give it a little bit of movement and just close the cuticle. I've got a lot of tension on my brush. You can see I'm just smoothing it out. Now tension is very important. You've got to hold that hair really tight. So the tension is probably one of the most important things to make the hair smooth, to close that cuticle. So as I move on to the side of the head, one thing you've got to remember, I know this is a mannequin head, but it will be a client eventually. So the hairdryer is never directed directly down on the head. You can see when I'm drying, it's always on an angle. So I've got the hairdryer pointing away from the face because you don't want to burn your client. So it's very important that you realize where the hair is actually blowing, or where the heat is actually blowing, should I say. So one thing you really have to remember is how hot these hair dryers get. You don't want to burn anyone. So you can see I'm sort of holding the hair really tight. I'm sort of moving the mannequin head here a little bit because it's not plastered down to the floor. So the tension is going to give me that nice smooth result that I'm looking for. Now remember, this hair, it's not 100% human hair. There is synthetic hair in it, so it's not going to be perfect on a mannequin head. But the idea is just to practice the technique. Once you get the technique down, that's the most important thing. So I tend to always pull this front section forward. Again, not putting the hair directly down. You can see my hair dries on an angle. I don't like the separation in the hair, so this allows that just to give me a nice movement. I always give it a blast of air once I get done and run my hands through it to give it a little bit of separation. And the way I finish, I always use a little bit of hairspray, but what I tend to do is I hold the hairspray up, I use the Paul Mitchell spray, and I use the hairdryer just to sort of give it a light mist. I don't put the hairspray directly on the hair. It just sort of coats it and settles down all those flyaways, so I can still run my hands through the hair. I don't want it stuck to the person's head so it doesn't move. I don't want it to feel like a helmet. So this is basically it, mate. This is the end result. You know, it turned out pretty good for a mannequin head. I hope you've liked it. But yeah, so I thought it turned out okay for a mannequin head, but really just practice the technique and I think you'll be okay. So if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. If you've come across me for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos that I have on my channel. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, so leave a comment down below. It'd be much appreciated. Okay, let me just add real quick to hairdressers that are just starting out in this industry. There's a couple of things. One, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. It doesn't happen overnight. You're going to upset a lot of people. You cannot make everyone happy. Not everyone's going to like what you necessarily do to their hair. You've got to understand this, because you create this sort of thick skin. You can't get upset about it. It takes time and practice. You've got to put in the hours. I've been doing this since I was, 16. I'm 42. A long time. So, and even now I'm still learning. So you never stop moving forward. And once you get your head around that, it becomes enjoyable, and you start to enjoy your craft. There's hairdressers that are coming out of school out here that don't even know how to still blow dry hair correctly. So it does take time. Put in the time, put in the hours, put in the practice, and understand that, you know, you really will learn to enjoy it and then love it, you know. So I hope that makes some sense, and, you know, I just appreciate the fact that you've watched it all, this video anyway.